XP rates is a function in InfiniTea that allows you to configure how XP rates are tracked across activity types. Now, I do want to call out right here early up front that when you first join this, you'll be presented with the basic view. And in fact, let me hop over to my dev server and show you what that looks like from the dev perspective, from the basic view. So if I come in here and go to XP rates, you'll see that I'm currently on basic here. There are two tabs, basic and advanced. Basic basically means that any one of these configurations is set for all activity types that are enabled. You'll notice that in my dev server, it says 3 locked activity types, and those are the activity types that are not currently part of a subscription for me on this plan or on this server. However, on this server, I do have it, so I don't have any locked activity types. So basic is the easiest way to get started with XP rates. I do want to call out, this is very complicated. There's a lot of math involved in it, but I've tried to give you the tools that allow you to understand what is happening. Up here in the top left is a visualize rates button. When you have a configuration that is valid, you'll be able to come in here and see approximately how long it takes to reach under continuous activity a specific activity type. So this chart here will help you understand, for example, the way that your XP curves are currently set up. While in basic mode, so here we go. This shows you that all of them are exactly alike, and that makes sense because we're in basic mode. So all of them should be identical to one another. And you have options down here for the rates and the channels. So the rates are like, these are the mathematical values that are used to render out that XP curve, if you will, but also allow you to adjust things here. But the channels tell you what channels are allowed and which channels are disabled. So you can disable tracking in some specific channels and only allow tracking in other channels. In advanced mode, this allows you to configure specifically for a given activity type. In addition, you can set notification channels for these events, for when a user levels up or different things like that. In advanced mode, if you're trying to switch back to basic, then you'll see that it says, hey, there's some mixed values here. And that's because the values are different across the different activity types. In my case, I configure each activity type uniquely to one another, but for some people, you may want to configure them all together as a unified unit. There's also an edit visually option down here at the bottom right that allows you to edit this XP curve live so you can see the XP curve as you're making changes to these various options. So for example, you can see that I am making it a much flatter, straight up linear function. And then you can change the base XP amount and so forth. And this dramatically affects how your curve might look. And then of course you can hover over this to see how that would look. To reach level 51, for example, for messages, it would require every 1 minute a user to send a message, and it would take 2.8 hours to reach level 51 under this current configuration. I'm not going to save that right now, but that is an option available for you to make it easier. And that is XP rates in the dashboard. However, there are some associated / commands that I want you to be aware of. You can do XP add, remove, or reset on a target user if you need to make changes. Furthermore, back in the dashboard, there is a data and reporting option that has a lot of this data in it, allowing you to come in here and see the progress for a specific user. You can export this data, which we do support formats, so you can export all of your activity data and use it with other supported bots. One of the other bots that I'm familiar with that does import from InfiniTea is KaiBot, so you can take this data with you. InfiniTea does take a lot of pride in allowing you to control your own data. Your data is yours, it's not ours. We just happen to hold on to it for you. So in here, you can also change a user's level directly, as well as their total XP, and you can see a lot of the information about that here. And that is it for XP.